Hey Sagittarius, welcome to your timeless reading. I trust that this will find you at the time and place that it most resonates. And as always, use your discernment when listening to tarot readings because I am making stuff up and you know your life and your story the best out of anyone. But if this resonates with you and provides some food for thought, then that is the point. So, I did pull your cards. I've been having so much trouble reading during Mercury retrograde. Hopefully your reading doesn't take quite as long as Scorpio's did. But I think I'm getting a fairly clear message, so I'll tell you what the cards are and then we'll talk about them. So we got the Two of Cups in reverse. We got the Star. We got the Six of Swords in reverse. The Sun. The Nine of Pentacles. And the Ten of Pentacles. And from the Kim Cran's archetype deck, the Prayer. So, Two Cups in reverse and the Star in reverse. I definitely feel like the main message for you, Sagittarius, at this point in the game is that you're kind of healing your relationship to the concept of love itself. Love as in romantic relationships. As in being intimate, sharing your life with someone, opening up, being vulnerable, all of that. And maybe you're in a relationship, and then this would be healing wounds within that relationship, misunderstandings, miscommunications, maybe kind of bringing the spark back, making some compromises that actually serve everyone. Like, I know they always say compromises, like, are situations where no one ends up happy in the end, but maybe compromises can actually be situations where everyone ends up happy in the end. Trying to think of an example of that, but maybe the simplest thing is people are always arguing about where to eat for dinner. Maybe so-and-so wants to eat at Applebee's, so-and-so wants to eat at Chili's for whatever reason, even though they're very similar restaurants, these two people are at odds with where they want to eat. And then they compromise by going to Houston's, which is a much nicer restaurant than both of those, so both of them win. That's a very silly example, but I think that is part of the message I'm getting, is just that part of love is recognizing where love does ask you to do things differently than how you would normally do them, but how that can be a benefit to both parties involved if that process of love becomes synergy, if it becomes something greater than either of the two of them could do alone. That's pertaining to healing relationships, which is just seeing where you and your partner are better together than you are individually apart. Like, where the two of you coming together equals something better than you could do on your own. First message I'm getting. Second message I'm getting is for singles. If you're single, then obviously it's not that you're incapable of love, or maybe even that you want to be single forever. But with the Star and the Two of Cups in reverse, it feels kind of like you are maybe embracing your singledom on a deeper level, not in the effort of saying, like, I never want to find partnership, I never want to open up, I never want to be vulnerable, but more to connect with your own self and to see where within you are blocked or afraid or kind of staving off this connection from happening. So an example of that, if you're single, would be like, I'm going to put myself out there for a moment, and then I'm going to see what comes up within me, and I'm going to observe it, and I'm going to feel it, I'm going to heal it. So, I mean, I don't want to, like, overshare about my own life, and I'm not a Sagittarius, but I think sometimes with the Star and all this water, I'm kind of like just drawn to the idea of the subconscious and how even if we fancy ourselves to be very intelligent, which I'm sure we are, we can still be kind of like operated by this programming underneath that we're not aware of, that is based on old stories, old events, old things that have happened. And so we kind of treat our lives. I mean, this is basic psychology. I mean, this is like, sorry, I feel like I'm now tarot-splaining to everyone, but kind of just the whole point if you're single and you're approaching relationships, you might find that the reason why this card is in reverse is because you are treating every situation like it's going to be the same situation as it was in the past. And that seems obvious and stupid to say right now, but with the star and all the energy at play, I feel like it's really about you tapping into yourself to be very highly conscious and aware of the feelings that are coming up, the pain that is coming up, the wounds that are surfacing, the pain that comes from being vulnerable, from putting yourself out there, from being rejected even, right? And just the fears and all that. I know that that's okay. I need to move on. I hope that was useful, but maybe it wasn't. All right, whatever. Doubting myself. 6 of Swords in reverse is moving on from stuff that wasn't working, but it's in reverse. So again, it just feels like there's a little bit of stuckness. I mean, even me trying to give this reading, I'm like, oh my god, what basic bitch information, you know? Like, and I'm having a hard time channeling lately, having a hard time moving forward. I'm just projecting my own situation onto your reading, but I think that's kind of what tarot is it not? It's like tapping into the energies at play, like what's coming up, what are we feeling? Maybe feeling very stuck, maybe feeling very like, even though I'm trying to move forward, even though I'm trying to examine my own psychology, even though I'm trying to kind of get to the bottom of this so I can move on, it's just all eluding me. And maybe I'm in this deliberate healing process of kind of checking in with myself and taking times out from whatever I'm doing in love to kind of examine where it's coming from within me. But even that feels really challenging, especially since the swords are mental energy and communication and ideas and stories we tell ourselves. I think there can be like confusion and muddledness within our own psyche, kind of like there's a tornado going on. And so here we are, like we're trying to examine the debris of like our subconscious mind, but it's all like swirling around in this kind of chaotic situation. Like a whirlpool is actually maybe more appropriate than a tornado, because we're in the water too, right? And water being our subconscious. So it feels like maybe metaphorically we're kind of like coming upon this like whirlpool of like all the danger we were trying to avoid in the first place. Kind of like the closer you come to like healing these wounds around love, like then the closer you're coming to all the chaos and pain and suffering that we were avoiding in the first place. So it's like you're doing this whole process to move forward, but kind of like once you get to the big bad of the video game of your dating life, then you're kind of like, what I get myself into? Oh no, maybe I can't move forward. Maybe this is just it for me. So that's a lot of chaos, and we want to move forward, don't we? So the prayer, let's talk about this. I feel like this is the medicine, the kind of like healing energy, and I feel like it has a lot to do with the star still. So with the prayer, I feel like the prayer is kind of you having a conversation with the divine, something larger than yourself. It doesn't have to be God. It could be the universe. It could be just even a spirit of sorts that you kind of connect with. Like, I really love Robin Williams, and sometimes I have felt like Robin Williams' spirit has come in and helped me. Maybe he has or hasn't. Who knows? But it's like, I guess I've thought often that like the supernatural or the divine is just what we don't understand, and it's also kind of a space where our imaginations are meeting reality. It's like this liminal space. So with the prayer, I guess I'm going on this little mini rant about the nature of reality to say that a prayer does not have to be like this pious sort of like solemn process of, dear Jesus Christ, like please, Although I will say that the energy of Jesus Christ helps me out too, but I think it's like the prayer is you connecting to something that is going to make you feel connected to yourself on a deeper, kind of more supernatural level. And the prayer is you kind of giving it up, being like, hey, entity, goddess, perhaps, maybe you're praying to the sun, to the moon, to the earth. Like, hello, I'm here and I'm struggling. I'm kind of coming upon this metaphorical whirlpool of my psyche, of all my fears and vulnerabilities and all of my pain and all of my suffering, all of the things that have been keeping me blocked from love. And I'm really trying to heal that, but like the more I try to heal it, the scarier it seems to get. And like I'm kind of beyond my own capabilities at this point. And I really need your help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. I think for me, I'm going to be praying to Obi-Wan Kenobi, especially since he is played by Ewan McGregor, right? Like, do as you will with the prayer, but I think that the point of the prayer is to make your healing fun, kind of like Mary Poppins, right? Like, cleaning your room doesn't seem like fun, but then she, like, snaps and uses magic, and all of a sudden, it's this very fun, exciting process. So, I guess just to say, especially with the sun as well, I'll start holding that one up. I think part of the prayer in the sun is to like alleviate some of the seriousness and overwhelm of your situation because it is so painful, and to invite a sense of play and a sense of joy and a sense of like newness and a sense of like experimentation. I would also add the sunflowers are have been a heavy theme in my life. And I think it's like, yes, there's all this darkness and all this stuff that keeps us blocked from love, but the vibration of love itself is this positive, joyous vibration that can be really silly and playful and goofy and exciting and wonderful and magical and mystical and bizarre and surreal and wonderful. And that's kind of what we want to embrace and bring into our lives anyway. So as you heal, even if what your healing process is like you being alone in your room and you like not putting yourself out there because you're afraid of that whirlpool of like the chaos of all the pain that it brings up to like put yourself out there. I'm basically making this a singles reading. If you're in a couple, you'll figure it out. You'll go to Houston's and have your nice dinner and you'll enjoy that. But yeah, this feels more kind of like the reading wants to focus on how to tap into a new approach to healing in and of itself. And I think a lot of that, again, has to do with you connecting to yourself and you connecting to your own sense of the divine on your own level, you know, kind of developing your own language with the divine. Because then that's also what brings in this play and this joy and this illumination, this clarity, kind of maybe some illusions being dispersed, right? Because then maybe you're finding, oh, like some of the areas I thought were really scary were actually just, you know, the way I was looking at it. And now that there's more light, I see kind of like, you know, when you're in a dark alleyway, you think you see a ghost and it turns out it was just like a cat or something. Although maybe cats can talk to who. Okay, sorry, I'm getting really insane and off. But I guess that's the point, right? Like we're just playing, we're just making stuff up, we're just using our imaginations, and we're seeing where our imaginations have been creating really scary ideas and circumstances for us, and where when we kind of embrace the power of our imagination, that we can imagine better, happier things and also have like kind of maybe more of a communion with the external world or the divine that actually suits us and kind of guides us and helps us through this healing process so that we can embrace the vibrations of love and joy and kind of get to that point. Oh, thank God this reading is coming in. Okay. So then we got the Ten of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles, and Okay, yeah, it's like slow and steady wins the race. That's been a major theme I've been hearing lately. Slow and steady wins the race. And the Knight of Pentacles is, I guess, like the slowest moving knight in the deck. And the Pentacles also deal with like the material world and kind of what we're building, like community. This is like the Tree of Life and the Kabbalah or something. And I really love the house they have. It seems like something that might be in the Hollywood Hills, and they obviously have a lot of money, and that's nice for them to have all that money. Okay, cutting off. But in terms of love, healing, relationships, imagination, kind of seeing things in a different perspective, I think it's like the message I'm getting is just, yeah, look, life is okay, Sagittarius, and you are going to get where you're going, and it's already kind of all here for you. I hate Abraham Hicks. I hate Abraham Hicks, so I don't know why I keep referencing them. Bizarre. I don't like them because sometimes I feel like it feels like telling someone to just be in a high state vibration is a little bit of like spiritual bypassing and kind of almost gaslighting, because it's like if you're wounded and in a place of pain and like you're afraid of that whirlpool because it's real, because it's based on past experiences that have been really traumatic and harmful and painful and that like are not life affirming, then just saying like, oh, well, don't be that way, and then if you're not being that way, you're bringing it upon yourself. That's the part I don't like. But what I will say is that the point of this reading is not to negate your past or your pain or your trauma or anything in the scary stuff that's hard to move on from. It's not to do that. It's kind of to put some aloe vera on those wounds, I would say it's like about the whole healing process is about recognizing, soothing that, giving yourself credit, feeling the pain, crying it out, all of that stuff. And then also kind of like playing and like reconnecting with your inner child and your sense of joy and your sense of discovery and your sense of like imagination and play and magic. Because then you're kind of opening yourself up to the fact that the future does not have to be like the past. I really love this Roy Orbison song, Shadaroba. And he's like, in the future is much better than the past, is like basically the whole song. And that's what I'm getting with the Ten of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles. It's like this idea that like you have yet in your life, Sagittarius, to experience the best of what life has to offer you. There are experiences that are still awaiting you that are like incredible and that are going to be really like exciting and like happy and wonderful and connected and beautiful and like abundant is really what I'm getting with the whole idea of the Pentacles. Like that there's enough and that there's more than enough and that you can also share your abundance and then still have enough. And again, with the Knight, it's like this whole operation of expecting the best and hoping for the best and then actually experiencing some of the best of what life is still yet to have you experience is a process in and of itself, and you're learning how to get there, and you're getting there slowly, deliberately, patiently with yourself as you heal. So kind of like there's no need to shame yourself, guilt yourself, kind of tell yourself you're not doing it right. There's no need to tell yourself that your healing process isn't happening fast enough. Indeed, it's meant to be kind of like slow and steady wins the race. I think I'll end the reading with this. I have a little sign somewhere in my room, and it says, mountains, like driving up mountains is a pleasure, but only if you drive with leisure. Meaning like getting to this Ten of Pentacles, to this happiness, is an exciting journey in and of itself. And if you're going up a mountain, if you're going through like these twisty turns of the psyche and all the stuff that was coming up in this healing process, kind of the slower you go, the more you'll be able to work through what's coming up for you, the more you'll be able to integrate the lessons you're learning, the more you'll be able to kind of like really fine-tune your own personal relationship to the divine that is unique to you, and enjoying all the fun and joy and like excitement along the way to all the joy and excitement. So kind of like every moment is part of the like journey, and like healing can be fun, i.e. Mary Poppins. And because healing in itself can be fun and a discovery process of like this weird joy and play, the whole point is not to rush into the relationship, but just to enjoy the experience of arriving there one day and then being pleasantly surprised and then embracing even more joy and abundance. And if you take your time and go slow with all of this, then when it does arrive, you're going to be in a much better position to embrace it and hold on to it. I think about, okay, I'm going to end with this. Tiffany Haddish said that success is heavy. And I think what she meant by that is just that with all this abundance does come some responsibility, right? Like you have to manage all those finances, for example. And it's like if you took your time and learned along the way about finances, I mean, that's not exciting, but maybe it is. The point being, like, if you kind of like, again, if you integrate the lessons you're learning and go slow, Knight of Pentacles, and integrate as you go your healing process and are not in a rush to get through the Six of Swords, maybe you end up taking a detour around that whirlpool, in fact. And so then your journey is much more safe. It has a lot of that joy involved. And so it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Very cliched, but I guess that's the message, is like, take your time healing. You're not in a rush. And let it kind of inform you about yourself, and like let yourself learn more about you and how you find joy and pleasure and excitement and magic in the world. And that's only going to bring more of it. And let yourself take your time. Okay. The end. I love it. I'm glad we got it in. Yay. All right. See you again next time. Bye.